Hey, it's Rob Ryder. One more time. Um, Now we're going to talk about what I've called a constructive notice. I don't care what anybody calls it or the way they do it. This is just an idea of how I would handle a one-time deal. Again, I'm trying to get out of Egypt through the birth certificate, but I realize people have court issues or credit card issues or whatever. Well, you have nothing to lose by trying this except a little bit of time. It won't take you long to write this. You get a notary to do the certificate on the bottom. You get it authenticated by or I don't like to use the word authenticated, um, certificate of authority for the notary, and you now have a public record. This is the law. So this is the law I would write. Uh, Validate whatever the charge or claim is. And again, everything that's in blue, you would take out and put in what it says you should put in for you. Somebody did one of these and they didn't replace the word all caps, right? So when they went and got seals, put it in court, and it said all caps. You know, pay attention. So validate the claim or charge number, whatever that is, as it pertains to your all caps. Robert Allen Ritlewski, that's mine. Notice to masters, notice to servant, notice to servants, notice to master. That's common law. There's masters and servants. Be it known to all men, I, Robert Allen, of my free will act and deed, granted a fee simple estate of inheritance in land and tenements from the Father, demand lawful validation of any claim or charge as it pertains to my landed estate of real property and interest known as Robert Allen Ritlewski, my all caps. I am an immortal living soul, created in the image of the Father. Here is one of his people, a trinity of heart, mind, and soul. Born a child of God, now living as a man of peace. Lawful owner of the real property and interest known as Robert Allen Ritlewski. For the record, any form of Robert Allen Ritlewski or its derivations in proper case is my official seal. I'm not signing Jack. I'm going to tell them it's my seal. In common law, there's no need to sign anything, but you must put your seal on it. As a living man, I accept all promissory oaths of all officers of the public and bind them to it, and bestow upon them my sovereign immunity while carrying out my lawful orders. Your free will act and deed has bound your soul to eternal damnation if you should ever break your oath to follow God's law. And I ask the Father to protect me, one of his people, from belligerents by those bound to do so. I want them to go protect me. As the tribunal, the court of record of final jurisdiction of my sovereign nation state, I claim exclusive, original, and final jurisdiction in all matters involving my land and real property and interest. No person, natural or artificial, nor their courts, can bring or judge any charge or claim having to do with my land or real property and interest, as they have no status. I am in receipt of a charge against my real property and interest, Robert Allen Ritlewski, from the plaintiff. Who's the plaintiff? If it says the state of Michigan, state of whoever, put it down. That's who they are. Who's its representatives? You got some names on there? We'll put those in, or just leave it as representatives. If they're working for the plaintiff, by the piece of paper you have, they're the representatives. But when you say representatives, you can mean all of them. You don't have to tell them by name. All of them. Identified by reference number, whatever they're using for. Does it have a case number, an account number, a file number, whatever it is, and then copy attached as part of the public, as part of this public judicial proceeding. I'm telling them this is a public judicial proceeding. I get to do that because I'm a man. I'm going to be the tribunal. So here we go. Plaintiff and his two witnesses with first-hand knowledge of the alleged event shall provide proof on lawful affidavit under oath administered by judicial officer under his seal and attested by a court of record that I have harmed the plaintiff or his property. He has to prove that I have harmed him and his property. Let the record show that failure to prove such affidavit within 7 days of the creation of the public of this public order is acknowledgement and full proof that whatever the charge is unlawful, and I demand it be immediately discharged, and a verified statement of discharge be entered into the public record. Let the record show that failure to provide said lawful affidavit or verified statement of discharge within 7 days of date of creation of this public record. I messed something up there. Record or pursuit by persons to enforce an unlawful charge by threat, coercion, duress is breach of promissory oaths, warring with the Constitution, may be construed as treason, and all public officers are ordered to fulfill their oath to protect the kings, princes, and people from the belligerents by imprisoning these traitors until their conscience returns, and terminate the franchise they represent. I have executed this instrument, my free will, act, and deed, set my hand and affixed my seal. And I got the same Christian name and surname. I didn't cover that on the last one I did, but you were given a name. It's a gift from the Creator, whatever it is. You don't need to call it a Christian name. Call it a given name. Whatever makes you feel good, that's a gift from the Creator. And then they hung this other name on the end that we call the family name, which is your surname, which binds you to their system. So I might take that off now because I put that sentence up there that just said that that's my seal. In fact, I know I would. So just erase that, right? You're just going to put your seal there. You're going to affix your seal, which is going to be what they used to think was your signature, but you've told them different. And again, here's the acknowledgement certificate, which basically says, personally appeared Robert Allen Wertlewski, to me known to be a living man, described in and who executed the foregoing instrument, and acknowledged before me that he executed the same of his free will, act, and deed. So I'm going to own all the names. They're all mine. They're my property. I'm going to use them as I like. And this Robert Allen Wertlewski, proper like this, is just my seal. It says so on the public record. They're going to, when we're done, they're going to say it's in due form of law for their system. So you take this to a notary or to a competent officer. Now, some states I know that, for the notary, you're supposed to go to the Secretary of State to get this certificate, and it seems kind of hard. But at the county building, there'll be there needs to be many, many, many people who can administer an oath or do an acknowledgement. Any justice of the peace can. Any judicial officer can. And so they may not call themselves a notary. And since they don't call themselves a notary and they work for the county, I'm almost positive that you will find their oaths, certificates you can get from the county. Those are their people. So it would keep you from having to go to the Secretary of State and make it so you could do all this in a one-stop shop, which is the way it should be. If the system is easy, then this should be easy. We just need to identify who they are and then tell everyone else who they are. So when you get this done, when I went to the county, they gave me this little document right here. Now, this is on a full-size sheet of paper, but the certificate itself is only about a third of a size sheet of paper. And we put it on a full-size sheet so they could scan it when they put it through the Register of Deeds. And this says that Christian Millard, clerk of said county, and clerk of the circuit court of the county of Montcalm, which is a court of record, I keep forgetting I got this thing really slow, so let me move it and then let it sit. Having a seal, do here certify that Janie M. Vargo, that's all that's on that line, so she's the public notary, this Janie M. Vargo, whose name is inscribed on the certificate or proof of acknowledgement of the annexed instrument. And make it bigger to see. And therein written was at the time of inking such proof of acknowledgement a notary public. That's all that's on that line. In and for in and for said county, duly commissioned and qualified, and duly authorized to take the same. And further, that I am well acquainted with the handwriting of such Janie M. Vargo, and verily believe that the signature to the said certificate or proof of acknowledgement is genuine. I further certify that the said instrument is executed and acknowledged according to the laws of this state. In testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the court and county of Stanton on this date. So again, you can't see it on this because it was an embossed seal. It was a seal from the court of record of the county. And a court of record has just said that this document here is in due form of law. So who am I to argue? They have said it's due form of law for them. And it has two seals for two witnesses, which makes it, the reason it's due form of law is because it's a lawful deed. It's a public free will act or deed. And you've affixed your seal, and here is where the notary is going to affix hers. There's two seals. The third seal being the document we just looked at, the authentication certificate. Certificate of authority. It could have a lot of names. Sometimes they're a full page. Sometimes they could be real pretty looking. But it's not a frickin' apostille. You don't want an apostille from anyone. If you're calling the Secretary of State and they say you need to send your document in and what country it's going to, you tell them you don't know what you're talking about, lady. Give me somebody who does. I want to have a Notary Act certified, period. I need to know this notary has an oath. You have a document for that. What is it called? How do I get one for this notary? How come the notary doesn't have them? Just start asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask them a question. And if you're not getting the answer you want, tell them you want to talk to their boss. Accept their oath. Is it that hard to say, hey, by the way, I accept your oath, and I have some questions, and if you can't answer them, I demand to talk to your supervisor. You'll find that they tend to listen to you. And you don't have to get angry and mean. You just have to stay calm and think about it. And if it gets to be too hairy, just step back. You can always step back and regroup, right? Send me an email. Ask me a question. Then we can share it with everybody. But don't ask me how to write this frickin' piece of paper or what you should add to it. I'm not going to tell you. As far as I'm concerned, if you're going to use this, I think you should frickin' handwrite it off of this video and then type it back in so that you know what every word is. And then you won't leave your all caps sitting there like that, like has already happened. And as you can see, I don't do 8 pieces of paper. This is plenty. So if you've done something trying to use 2 seals and send in 8 pieces of paper with it and it didn't work, well, it's because you're frickin' saying too much. What the hell's wrong with you? Tell them who you are, first and foremost. They have to rebut it on an affidavit. If they don't, it is what it says it is. It's the law. Because you have a public record. And then trial by record, another video I've done, you'll see how powerful that is, according to Blackstone's. So, okay, I'm going to leave it there. This is a good short one, and we'll see what's next. See ya.